These are the two Sportline seats that are going into the red 124 project once I have them recovered. I am going to purchase the covers for them just as I'm finishing up working overseas, and hopefully they arrive just as I do. And then I can go ahead and get these seats recovered. But before I do that, I just want to test electrically if all of the motors work and that nothing is broken. It's very easy to test and I will show you how to do it right now. These are non-memory seats. This test does not apply to memory seats. They are completely different. So let's get started. I do have my trusty bench power supply here that's capable of delivering a ridiculous amount of current. You do need something half decent to power these motors. If you don't have enough current available, they're just going to do nothing. But a battery will suffice, but I would suggest having either a fuse on the positive line or some other current limiting device, because if you short circuit it, it's going to end in tears. On these non-memory seats, the electrical connectors are right at the front here. There is a crushing injury risk if you operate this front motor with your fingers in there, but other than that it's reasonably safe. Common sense applies, obviously, and do this at your own risk. There's 4 motors on this connector here, and they are connected in with the positive and negative basically at the front and the rear. So to power each of the 4 motors, you have a positive or a negative at the rear and the front, and that's one motor, one motor, one motor, one motor. Piece of cake. And this connector, that's for the headrest. There's only 2 poles there, and obviously you just reverse polarity to change the direction. So let's go ahead and test how well this passenger seat works. It should be pretty good. Passenger seats in Australia get hardly any use. The driver's seat that is in atrocious condition, I expect might have some mechanical issues, but let's go ahead and test this passenger one first. So I'm going to test the first pair of conductors on the left first. And if I remember correctly, that is actually for the front height, and that's where you can get some injury occurring there. So that's fully maxed out in that direction. Now we'll try it in the other direction. And yes, that's working, and I don't want to keep my hands in there for longer than I need to. So we will reverse that back up again so that I have access to the pins much easier than I do currently. And now I'll try the next motor. That's obviously the front and back movement. And that's working great. The next motor here, that appears to be the rear height of the seat, and that's working fantastic. And by process of elimination, this last one must be the backrest angle. And yes, it is. And that works perfectly. And one last test, we will try the headrest. You can just see that. But that's fine. So that's a pass for the passenger seat. Now, the concerning one, the driver's seat that's had a much harder life. Let's give that a go. So now we can go ahead and test the driver's seat, which has obviously had a much harder life. First thing I'm going to test is the headrest, and that's the connector on the rightmost with only 2 pins. and that's obviously working fantastic. So that's a load off my mind. First motor on the left connector here is going to be the height once again, and that's working perfectly. Height at the front, that is. Next one along, the front and back movement. That's working great as well. The rear height. Works great. And of course the backrest angle. Fantastic. So there's absolutely no electrical or mechanical issues with these seats. I can rest in the knowledge that I can have them recovered now, and they're going to work great as soon as I fit them to my red project. I do still need to find a passenger side set of switch caps. I do have the switch module, I fixed that up, but I don't have any caps for it, which is ridiculous. And they go for stupid prices on eBay, I've noticed. But anyway, that's something I'm just going to have to pay for and get, because I can't have a switch with no caps on it. That's just ludicrous. And now that we've finished the tests, of course, we can put this spring-loaded carpet back on without destroying anything in the process. That cover just snapped back on, as you could see there. This, of course, will get cleaned up once I've had these seats retrimmed. And you can see there's holes in the frame here. That's for the fire extinguisher bracket. I do actually have two of those, and I've got a completely original and full fire extinguisher from 1990 as well. No doubt it contains ozone depleting substances, but I'm not going to use it anyway. It'll just be for decoration. I don't intend for the red car to catch on fire. Famous last words. So there you have it. These seats will get recovered early next year when I come back from work, and they will look awesome, and they'll go straight into the red project. And at least I know they work properly. I do have to get the rear headrests recovered. Back when I salvaged this Sportline interior from a car in another state in 2017, my 124 knowledge wasn't what it is today, and I did not know how to get the rear headrests out. Obviously I know exactly how to do that now, but back then I didn't, so I left them behind. And I'm going to have to use Red's originals, and they are absolutely atrocious. You basically just touch them and your finger goes straight through the baked leather. Yeah, so they will get recovered as well as these front Sportline seats. So that's something to look forward to.